In three, two, one. Hello, everybody. This is Adam here with WWE 2K16 finally. I've had it for a while now, but I kind of took a little break here. I said on the video I posted a few days ago, about a week ago now, that it was Christmas break, and for some YouTubers, that means they're home more often and actually can do more videos. But for me, I have two small children, so it's kind of a big let's go outside and play in the snow that should have been here but wasn't quite here, but was still enough to get them excited about it. Um, but anyway, finally, I'm posting my first video of WWE 2K16. It's more of a pros and cons kind of thing. I have some notes here of some stuff I wanted to talk about. Talk about the improvements that was made over the last 2K15 game, which was, if I recall, was really their first 2K. It was their first kind of effort at the game, and they didn't really have a lot to say about it. This one definitely is an improvement. I'm actually going to go ahead and start playing. I've actually been playing my career mode. Just like the old one, you start in NXT, you have some matches, you build a feud. That's one of the improvements in this game is the feuds. Um, don't get me wrong, the feuds still need some work, but they've put a lot more effort into how the game goes. So, quick overview: you start out in NXT, you're basically a nobody type person. You're getting help and stuff like that in terms of written on the screen of what you should be doing. It's kind of like a tutorial phase. After the first feud you have, which I believe is always with Tyler Breeze, um, you kind of go off onto your own. But it basically tells you how you can interfere in matches. You can only interfere in matches if you are in a feud with one of the participants of the match. So that's um, again something that they probably can work on, but let me just start playing and I'll go over some of the talking points. Some of the talking points I do have are the creation suite has been updated and added some stuff. The universe is a little different. Career, the backstage interviews, which is actually a pretty cool thing that they've done. It's kind of in the telltale style of answering questions and it affecting how your character is perceived by the other wrestlers in the game. Um, there's also I wrote down some stuff that I'd like to see. A couple side notes, just some stuff to go over. Overall, it's a big improvement over 2K15, and it still has a lot of room to grow. But 2K seems to be willing to put the effort into it. They listen to a lot of, I think, what I mean. They may never admit to it, but I think they listen to a lot of what people said about 2K15 and try to work off that. So let me pull this up, and I'll go over a couple things with you guys on screen just to show you what it's all about, and we'll go from there. Loading screens, um, they're not terrible. Some of the ones before, like your when you're loading your match, can take a while. You hit you go to match, and if you don't forget to hit go to match, you can sit there for like 10 minutes until you realize that you haven't hit the button yet and nothing is loading. That could just be me. Uh, I've done it a couple times. Okay, so here we go. This is the my career home screen. You can see at the top you have the year and what week of what month you're in. So 2016, September, the fourth week. The next pay per view was Night of Champions. My main personality characteristic is bold. That changes. I think there's 6 or 8 different characteristics. Three or four which are on the face side of the spectrum, and then 3 or 4 on the heel side of the spectrum. Um, Obviously, certain things like boldness can be either or. You don't necessarily have to be a face to be loyal or respectful or bold. It's just your predominant trait of all. I believe it's 8 of them. Um, my overall that's actually your attributes, which I'll go down into attributes so you can see. It's just like the other games and or in the creation suite, how you can in creation suite you can max all these out and be like, you know, Uberman. But in this one, in the career mode, it's obviously it's kind of tethered to make it so you feel like you have to work from the beginning to the final scenario. So, you have all of them: arm power, leg power, head, body, all that stuff. Some of the main ones I feel are important to work on are your movement speed, your strike speed, your grapple speed, agility, strength, stamina. This kind of mid group here, coming all the way down. I skip over a couple of these. As you can see, I got, let's see, ones. Your Depending on if you're a high flyer, I would say work on your aerial, striking and grappling. Obviously, if you're more of a technical ground person, pin escapes is one that I would say is important to work on. I actually just added some more to it. They get pricey. I was going to say a lot of the things in this game are a little more pricey, especially some of the things you pay for with your VC, your virtual currency. My overall went from a 69 to a 70 because I raised up my pin reversal. Pin reversals are different, and I'll actually show you that when we get into a match, but it's different. I don't know if it's necessarily harder. It definitely makes, at least me, a lot more frantic when I get into the zone that I'm going to be telling you about. I can actually show you my. So there's 12. I'm sorry. There's 12 characteristics you see there on the bottom below the options menu. You have prideful, respectful, perseverant, loyal, bold, and disciplined. And you also have egotistical, disrespectful, desperate, treacherous, cowardly, and aggressive, both face and heel, respectively. Now, obviously, you can see that I'm a face, as you can see in the top under my name there. But you can see on the bottom, the opposite of disciplined is the aggressive bar, and that's maxed out. Basically, that comes from how you answer questions in the backstage. I believe it also has to do with how you act in matches some. But anyway, so getting into it, right below all the stuff on top, your popularity is kind of like your fan reaction or your followers from 2K15. SP, I just told you that's for your abilities and your I forget the name of it already. Attributes, sorry. Your virtual currency is there underneath that, and then underneath. Okay, so you see, this is my match for Night of Champions. It's 1-on-1, last man standing, against Jack Swagger. Up next to Jack Swagger, you see Ryback and the Intercontinental Championship. That's because that's the title that I chose to go for when I was called up from NXT. The way NXT works is when you finally get the NXT Championship, you basically have an option to go to the main roster or not. If you stay on the main roster, you maintain your NXT Championship. You continue to defend it. Similarly to like a lot of people say that Finn Balor doesn't want to necessarily jump to the main roster right away, so he's kind of hung around NXT. He's done a lot for the main event scene there. So you'd be doing that. I chose to go for the next belt just because I kind of wanted to see where it would go. You can actually come out of NXT and put yourself in the main event title picture. I don't know how fast you move up. I don't know if that's something that's actually built into the game. Like, I chose Intercontinental title, so I probably have a better chance of moving up in terms of that instead of being fresh from NXT and going for the world title. I would assume that there's a bit of a difference. Beneath those two pictures, you see, well, let's start on allies and rivals, obviously self-explanatory. I'll go in here and I'll bring up this list. Big Show is my current rival. Basically, he attacks me, I attack him. The backstage interviews generally are around the two of us and our interactions. Your allies are on the other side. Your main ally, which I actually have none right now because Baron Corbin, if you don't maintain the relationship, in other words, if you have a tag team partner and he's in single matches, you pretty much need to go out there and support him every time he's in a singles match. That's how you maintain your tag team partner. When you don't, they kind of fall back into that mid-3 level there, and they're just your allies. I've had no interactions with allies in terms of, like, I've never been getting beat up and a random ally comes out. I haven't seen that yet. It may be in there. I don't know yet. I really haven't played a ton of this. Heels work similarly. You could see Kane, Bo Dallas, and Big Show are all maxed out at 5. The reason being is because when I first came from NXT, you have to interact with the Authority. And basically all it is, it's almost like a match modifier. They give you a certain way to win. Like in this match that I have with Jack Swagger coming up, basically they want me to reverse his finisher. It gives you a bonus in SP, and it also takes their, you see, it's very unfavorable. I think I'm pretty sure I'm maxed out down there. Or favorable. Basically, once I didn't do the first thing that they asked, it put me into a feud with the Authority, essentially. So I was getting beat up by Triple H, Kane, and Big Show. That's why they're maxed out. I chose to, you can only choose to attack one person. I chose to attack Big Show, so he's my main opponent for the feud. If you go into the Intercontinental title picture, you can see the 5 people, actually gives you 10, the top 10. So you have Tyson Kidd, Goldust, Jack Swagger, Sheamus, Fandango, who lost a spot, Dolph Ziggler, who went up a spot, Neville, who lost a spot, Luke Harper went up a spot, Bad News Barrett is the #1 contender, with Ryback being the champion. You can go through every single title, and you can see who is in the title picture for each of these as well. The tag team championships. There's actually a lot of tag teams in here. You see the Vaudevillains, Heath Slater and Zack Ryder are tag team. I kind of think that was just the game threw them together for purposes of filling out the roster there. The Lucha Dragons, Ms. Dow, and Curtis Axel. It's funny because they have updates in terms of how the game looks and the characters portrayed, and then it's weird they'll have some stuff in there that's not really like Xavier Woods, for instance. You see him right there. He's paired with R-Truth. Now that's when Xavier Woods debuted, he did cooperate and pair with R-Truth. However, he's since joined the New Day with Biggie and Kofi Kingston. He wears in the game his New Day attire, yet still tags with R-Truth and Xavier Woods in the career mode. I don't know why. I think what they did was they started the game, at least in development early, and so much has changed that by the time they got around to scanning people and all this other stuff, everything visually was up to date. Some of the commentary and setup was still kind of back in terms of where they were. I find it amusing as I'm looking through here that Big Show isn't in any title picture, so I'm feuding with a guy who really probably won't help me all that much. But anyway, let's start a match, and I'll go over some of the stuff in match. You can see you have a full card now instead of just kind of your match seems to be the main event, and that's all I talk about. You kind of see where you end up on the list. Once you start moving up in title matches and your place on the roster, you'll start ending up in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 8th being the main event, which is funny because that's Ryback and Bad News Barrett. John Cena versus Rollins versus Reigns, Sheamus versus Goldust, Bo Dallas versus The Undertaker. Undertaker's in the game, and it's not like a once-in-a-while thing like in real life. He's just there as a regular roster member. So you see him going against Bo Dallas on Night of Champions for no reason whatsoever. Neville and Ziggler, my character and Jack Swagger, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan versus Conor Victor. It's funny because this... And we see here the opener being Fandango versus Tyson Kidd versus Triple H versus Kevin Owens. It's not far off from the mentality and mindset that WWE uses right now for pay-per-views anyway. So we'll go ahead and it skips those. It tells you who won. Kevin Owens won that first match. And then we'll go right in here. This is what I was talking about. If you don't hit go to match, you'll end up sitting here for a while. I'm going to turn entrances off just because it's a YouTube video, and I'm not exactly sure all of the rules on copyrighted material. So I went ahead and turned in-game music off for this to save myself a lot of hassle, basically. And we're loading, and I guess we could talk about some stuff while we load. Here are my notes. I have the Creation Suite. Creator Wrestler improvements are the cloth option, which is pretty cool. You could pretty much pick anything in the clothing and change the material it's made out of. You could turn a leather vest into like the vinyl plasticky looking stuff that Rey Mysterio wears. You can do all that stuff. In reference to my character, the tights that I'm wearing were regular tights. I made them the vinyl option. You can see me, I'll back out and I'll hit the X button. a heel will not break the hold cleanly. The gameplay itself, it's not a lot different from the original. It's nice looking for sure. They definitely put some work into it. They still need a lot of improvement on just the creation aspect of it. The entrance itself, I would say the biggest problem I still have with it is the fact that you are unable to use custom entrance music, kind of like how you used to do on the Xbox 360 and load music that you had saved to the console into the game. As well as the create a wrestler entrance video. I believe it was 2014, in which you could take basically a generic video, and all it does is impose your character over the video of him doing a clothesline or a super kick or a power bomb. It was basic, but it made your character feel so much more a part of the game. I feel like they kind of dropped the ball when they removed that. Even in that may have been in 2012, now that I think about it. Because 2014, I think they took that out and just put generic background videos to where there was no person in them at all. It would just be like a picture of a fire burning, or I believe one of the divas had a spinning black heart that just rotated on the screen. Again, very basic, but at least you didn't have to be forced to use a real wrestler's entrance video or the WWE logo. And I'm getting my ass kicked here if you haven't noticed, because I'm kind of talking to a camera instead of looking at the screen. There's the WWE Universe is basically the same. Oh, it's a last man standing. I don't even know what that's doing. There's no last man standing matches. There's no roster split anymore. So basically, you have a list of the shows that occurred during the week. SmackDown, Raw, NXT, I believe Superstars. And you basically just check which show you want the characters to appear on. So like Undertaker is basically, he'll only appear on Raw or pay-per-view because it's the Undertaker. Same with Brock Lesnar. Part-time wrestlers tend to only appear on Raw. And then you have like Kevin Owens, who will appear on Raw or SmackDown, or even he'll show up on NXT from time to time.
Now, who doesn't methodical
so it's kind of done in that aspect. And then you have guys like Jack Swagger or Bo Dallas, who will be usually on SmackDown and show up on Superstars. Even Jack Swagger and Bo Dallas main event Superstars. So that's kind of the way that it does it's not a brand split, but you can kind of separate people from brands in terms of their, star power, and in conjunction with the real life show about a fake sport. But it's real world counterpart. My career is way more realistic. You feel like a part of it. The Authority has has a part in it.
I just can't imagine one of them also accepting defeat.
I wrote here, it doesn't feel like the cover of a good book. In other words, it had opportunity, a lot of opportunity. It felt like they kind of just scratched the surface of what they could do last year. This year, it's a lot better. I still wouldn't say it's perfect because there's a lot missing, which I'll talk about in the things I'd like to see part of it. There's a lot of stuff that I would like to see them do that would make it a lot better. The backstage interviews are cool. Like I said, it's kind of like a telltale story style there. Excuse me. They need to improve the depth of it. It's a good first draft. They need better questions, a wider variety of questions, and I would say a few more answer options. I think the most you can have is 4 And every now and then they'll throw in a turn question, which is what I call it, is you only have two options. You can either answer how a face would answer or how a heel would answer. And depending on your character, if you're already a heel and you answer as a heel, you remain a heel. If you answer as a face, you start your turn. And for people who just like wrestling games and not the actual wrestling itself, a turn is basically when you go from a good guy to a bad guy, or a bad guy to a good guy, or in some instances, you have really no alignment and you're just there to beat up people. Think Dean Ambrose.
Here we go with the count.
I do believe in getting my ass kicked.
To get back up to his feet.
I had more than seconds, Mr. Cole. I was only on one count.
A direct hit.
Oh, also, reversals in this game. It's good and bad, but there's a limit depending on the level of reversal you have your skill up to. Basically, there is a limit to the number of times you can reverse, which is great for online matches, because I remember in 2K16, you would just, anytime you try to throw a fist, they'd reverse it and you get your ass kicked. It's a little different now because there's a limit, so they could, the computer or the other person has a limit of how many times they can reverse as well, and it helps a lot.
Swagger just great counter.
Going for it again.
And he just reversed my finish.
To connect
I realized that.
Time.
Man, that was some miss, all right.
I gotta save some stamina here. Getting beat up regularly. I'm gonna try to focus on this a little bit.
He's just barely moving.
Now it's gut check time. This has been so exhausting.
I'm gonna take a break here. Seems to be having a little bit of a technical issue, so give me 1 second. Okay. I think I have it. If it does it again, I'll have to. And okay, let's try that now.
Fighting to get back to his
Oh,
feet.
he's down at 8. I'm not doing terrible, I guess.
To keep these guys down.
And he makes it
I'm
back
so
to
good. I
his
was
feet.
kicking ass while I was telling you I was kicking
Will
ass.
resume.
Not really. I was getting beat up pretty badly. It just seems like it's Jack Swagger, and he's not faring too well against my lackluster efforts to beat him up.
Going to win many matches absorbing punishment like that.
The commentary in this game, I thought it was going to be a lot better. They've done a couple improvements. One, they have name recognition for the commentary team and not just the announcer. So instead of just the announcer saying your name and them calling you a generic nickname, they'll call me Adam in this game, which is pretty awesome. The only problem is it's very limited when they add your name to it. My last name being Man, M-A-N-N. Whenever I hit a move, Jerry Lawler finds it amusing to say "man, oh man."
We're seeing two
I mean, it's not really that far off from what the kind of jokes they make during the actual broadcast of the live shows. But you know, fair point. It's an update, it's an improvement, and that's always cool. JBL has been added to the commentary, which is also pretty cool, except he doesn't really talk a whole lot. It feels like he was kind of added in afterward.
He's down.
And
the official begins the count.
This match has been awesome. And down he goes.
He's down. And now the official begins the count.
I'm going to wake him up just to hit him with my finisher once.
And Man gets all of it.
Man, oh man.
There. Man, oh man. It's top level comedy.
He's
gold.
down. And now the official
Laugh
begins
Factory
the
type
count.
stuff.
He can't do it. He can't make it. This is going to be it.
The crowd's pretty cool. It's not a huge improvement over last year. I like seeing like the people walking in the background going to their seat, going to get some popcorn or something. It's a Jack Swagger match, generally when I tend to go to the bathroom. 8, 9. I'm going to just go ahead and call it.
What do I have to do to put this match to rest?
Yeah, I just did what I put the match to rest there. For the record, obviously this is the first video I've actually had with my video over the top of it. I am working on the that I do a lot. It's a way for me to insert a word into a gap where I have nothing to say. I'll try hard. It was suggested to me that I just change it with another word like hamburger just so it would be funnier. I don't know if that's possible. It's kind of a habit to say or and not hamburger or cheeseburger. I don't know if it was a fat joke or it was suggested to me to say cheeseburger all the time. I might get views off of it, honestly, with the way YouTube works sometimes, but I'm not interested. So, here you go. Reverse. Oh, I reversed this finisher, apparently. I was unaware. So I did what the Authority asked me to. So I get an extra boost in points, and they hate me this much less. But I hate them. Hate the Authority. So again, I'll talk about some of the stuff that I'd like to see. That's pretty much all the stuff I wanted to talk about. I'm trying to read over here. You feel the career makes you feel, I said before, make you feel like you're improving. You feel like you're growing in the company in terms of your skill level and such. And you go back to this screen. Sometimes you'll go to a backstage interview like I was telling you before. I was kind of hoping for one, but I didn't see it. I'm going to go through here. Big Show's not even on the pay-per-view, is he? Because he's a loser. Loser! Sorry, I might have just overblew the mic there. Sorry. My apologies. And now I'm going to Raw. As one would do after a pay-per-view where he kicked Jack Swagger's ass. And I'm fighting Roman Reigns, apparently. That's unfair. So you can see my bar went down tremendously. Apparently, you could do a couple things they want you to. Win a match without reaching level 2 stamina. That's probably impossible for me. I like to run around a lot. In the game, not in life. And it doesn't, it isn't conducive to not burning through your stamina. Apparently, Wade Barrett took the Intercontinental title from Ryback. He did. He did. I don't even know how long this video has been. I could check, I guess, but I'm not gonna worry about it. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna call it a day. I got some editing to do to try working this video thing out. Obviously, I'm playing on the Xbox and recording on a computer and a couple other different things. So I'm gonna call it a day. I showed you a match. I talked about the things I wanted to talk about. I'm just gonna leave it on this screen and go over some of the stuff I'd like to see in the next one, and work it out from there. So let's see. I'd like to see more added options for the allies and enemies section. It'd be cool if you could backstage attack some of your enemies. Also, non violent altercations too. Like in the game, you see a lot of time, or I'm sorry, not in the game. On the show, you see a lot of time. Roman Reigns is out in the ring and Triple H comes out and they just kind of badmouth each other. They could throw that in there. I don't think it'd be that hard, and it would add to the overall simulator aspect of the game. Same thing with allies. I wouldn't mind seeing some stuff where my an ally of mine or my tag team partner is getting beat up backstage, and I have the option of hitting X to make the save. That would be something I think would work. And also, some other stuff like what got me thinking about it. I was watching some old clips, and the Stone Cold Steve Austin beer truck with the corporation was on there. I thought it'd be cool if they could throw some stuff like that in there. Obviously, it wouldn't be super, what you call, editable or customizable. But it would be cool if they could have just, fill Vince's car up with cement like it has in the past. Use a forklift to flip someone's car over like in the past. Stuff like that, but I think would add to the game also. What I would like to see in 2K17, reinstate the customizable video and entrance music. Create a finisher. I kind of miss that. Especially now that they have kind of name recognition, it'd be cool to have a finisher, some kind of. I was never into like the people who do like the quintuple flipping moonsault with a twist knee drop things. I always try to keep it more realistic. Again, I know it sounds funny. It's wrestling. And not only it's wrestling, it's a video game about wrestling. So it's a fake thing about a fake thing. But in the realm of reality, I always thought it made it more immersive and fun to play. So create a finisher would be cool. Like again, especially because the announcers say it too. I'd like to, do a move and whatever it be called, the Crusher, or, whatever. I mean, even if you have to pick a name from a giant list of names like you do when you're naming your character, it would still be cool to see. Let's see. I went over the allies and enemies. Oh, this is kind of my my overreaching thing I'd like to see. Would be and I just gave a suggestion as because they have the oh my god moments. So I said use it in like a mega oh my god moment. Where you need 3 save finishers and a full momentum meter with a downed opponent in the ring. I would love to see a chair storm in a WWE wrestling game. If you don't know what that is, just look it up. Look it up for old ECW videos, or you can look up the one that happened with Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose during their feud. A chair storm is basically where the crowd gets up off of their seats and are allowed to toss them into the ring. It's amazing. And I'd love for them to put it in a game. And, I even described a way you could trigger it if you're in a match. If you recall, if you've played these games before, you recall there was a superplex where 2 super heavyweights would do a superplex from the top rope. It would hit the ring would collapse, and the person performing the move won by knockout. So they could do it in that sense by my character and Dean Ambrose are having a match, and I get Dean Ambrose down, and he's in the ring down, and you go out to the ring and you grab a chair, and you have your 3 finishers or whatever other requirements you need to do, and the oh my god symbol pops up when you walk to, say, the announce table or the corner of the barricade, and you hit the button and you throw your chair into the ring, and then just 10, 20, 30 chairs fly from the audience into the ring. The match ends, you win by KO. It would be the coolest thing. I can't imagine it to be super hard to do. I don't know if the overabundance of chair animation might cause the thing to lag, or I'm sure they'll get to be able to do that. I just think it'd be really cool, and that was kind of like my fanboy gush there for a second. I had seen it in that clip thing I was talking about before, and I just thought it could work into the game, and it'd be really fun to do. So anyway, that's all I got for this video. I hope you guys liked it. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to be trying to do some more videos. I thought about doing my career video where I would make a character just for YouTube and follow it through. It's very time consuming, and not a lot happens in between your matches. So, with that being said, I may do a universe mode one. That way I kind of have a little more control over what's going on. But we'll see. I'll definitely do some more of these videos, even if they're just short videos of matches, showing off some of the creative guys I have. A couple of my friends, I want to make wrestlers for them, just because they like wrestling, and I told them I would. So that's all I have. I hope you guys appreciated this video. I will have some more coming up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have fun.